Hi, in this video we are looking at entry confirmation using the pin bar and commodity channel index divergence. In our previous video we have established how we can use our pin bar, how to identify the pin bar and how to identify divergence. So this video is a continuation, that is the part 2 of that previous video, and now we are looking at how do we use our pin bar and divergence as an entry confirmation. Previously someone asked about the full indicators. Here are just the indicators. The Bollinger Band, the period is 130, the deviation is 2.0, the shift is 0. You apply to close. You can just take a screenshot. This is a relative strength index. The period is 90. Here the pixel, my background of my chart is white, so I change it to the color of my background. If yours is black, kindly change it to black. And then here are the descriptions, the levels 90, 10, 20, 80 and 50 respectively. So if you have done that correctly, here is your commodity channel index and your chart will be looking exactly like mine. The question now is, how do we find entry? How do we trade this particular strategy? Now the way to trade it is very much simple. First of all, we need to determine the trend of the market, and if you are conversant with this channel by now, you should know the right way to determine your trend of the market. Looking at this price scenario, price has been bullish. Just as you can see, price is bullish. This is our H1 time frame and we are proudly in an uptrend. On this channel, I've tried to simplify things so that you can be able to understand how to know your trend even as a beginner Forex trader. So the best way and the easiest way for you to determine your trend as a beginner is for you to consider the middle Bollinger Band. So this is the middle Bollinger Band. So that whenever you see price consistent above the middle Bollinger Band, you should know that you are in an uptrend. And whenever price is consistent below the middle Bollinger Band, from H1, that is a 1 hour time frame, upward, it shows that based on the time frame you are looking at it, either 1 hour or 4 hour, it shows the trend that you are. So in this particular scenario, price is in an uptrend. Now how do we find our entry? Using this spin bar strategy, our entry will focus majorly on a candlestick formation, which is the pin bar candlestick formation. And I believe that based on previous video, you have spent time to identify or to know how to identify a proper pin bar scenario. Now looking at this, let's look at this. Is a current price scenario. In this zone, price is in an uptrend, right? So price is in an uptrend, and do we have a pin bar candle here? First of all, price is an uptrend. Let's look at what happened at this zone. At this zone, we are having a divergence. So this is a typical divergence, but we don't have a pin bar candlestick formation. So the essence of this video, we are discussing about pin bar alone. So in the subsequent video, we can talk about other candle pattern. We don't have a pin bar there. Then remember, we have a trading strategy. We mark our point of interest. So this is my smart money cube. So I'll be waiting for price to retest my smart money cube, and then I will move to my lower time frame to find an entry. So here are my point of interest. If price pull back here, I will look for a candlestick pattern to buy, and then a divergence confirmation. The same thing, if price fail this one, price will have to retest this, and I will look for opportunity to buy. So I'm giving you chart markup and at the same time how you can find your entry. So since on this particular one we did not get any entry in that zone, so we are leaving that because we didn't have any trade entry. we don't have a pin bar. But in this scenario, let me show you something. Here we are having a divergence. Price is making higher high. You can see that our indicator is giving us a low, right? And then immediately after that, we are below the middle Bollinger Band, so we are in a downtrend. Then afterward, we have a pin bar candlestick formation. Look at this. This is a bearish pin bar candle formation. So that would have become your entry because of this divergence, and then you would have sold at the close of that candle. Okay, so that is how it works. But remember, anytime you are making entry, you need to look forward for area of support and resistance, so that as you are getting the signal, you are not making your entry in the zone of resistance or support. For instance, in this scenario, if you had made this entry here, right, here is a support zone, so price would not be able to go far because of the support zone. So there is a tendency that price will easily reverse from that zone, and that is exactly what happened. Okay, so let's look at any other asset and see what we can get from this. All right, beautifully well. This is an uptrend and this is AUD. So let's look at what do we have. We have our divergence, right? And then here is divergence. Now we did not have a pin bar candlestick pattern. Like I said, if you are conversant, I only trade two types of candlestick pattern, the pin bar and the hammer. So in this scenario, we don't have a pin bar. So I trade the pin bar and the engulfing candlestick pattern. But in this scenario, what we are having is a divergence, and then we don't have a pin bar, but we have an engulfing candlestick. So this is an engulfing candlestick that can now becomes your entry after that divergence, and this is a pullback. So you are trading in line with your trend, pull back to the zone of the middle Bollinger Band, and that is a beautiful buy entry. And you can see how that price is playing out gradually. So I don't intend this video to be long at all, right? So you can as well mark your point of interest. Remember, your point of interest can also be your support and resistance. So you mark point of failure. We've done a video on this channel talking about support and resistance, so you can go watch the video so you can see what I'm going to do now. Now I mark the support and resistance here. This is my point of reaction. This is my point of failure. The point of failure is where the wick is showing, and after that, look at what happened. Price pulled back into the zone of my support. Now look at, there is a divergence here, very tiny. As you can see, the crosshair vertical line, this is the first low. Now you can see that this is a divergence. So we have this little divergence around this zone and here. So that is a typical divergence, and because it is now in the zone of support, price bought all the way to the upside, and then you have a divergence confirmation. So anytime price pull into your point of interest and then you identify divergence, okay, it becomes an opportunity for you to buy. What is your point of interest? Your point of interest can be your order block. It can be a smart money cube, support zone, resistance zone, imbalance. All these are what we regard to as point of interest. Okay, so please take note of that. You can take advantage of all of this, and you will see how this will change your trade drastically. Okay, so please do well to watch this video more than once so that you can understand everything that I have shared. Now you will know that here we have a divergence. There is a divergence in that zone, right? your trend line too can also be your point of interest. Here we have a fair value gap. I just marked the fair value gap. Price came in to fill into that fair value gap, which is also our point of interest. And when the price came into that zone, look at what happened. Divergence, right? The another divergence. Okay, so in the subsequent video, I'll be making a special video on how to identify point of interest, just to refresh our minds and memory. So I'll encourage us again that you look forward to the subsequent video, how you can identify divergence, complete guide on it, how you can identify divergence, both the bullish and bearish, pin bar, engulfing candle, and then your point of interest. So the video is going to be a bit lengthy, but it's going to be a full package of everything that you need to turn your trading journey around. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to give this video a like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when we upload our next video. See you in the subsequent video.